Hello? Jeez, it's really weird talking first episode of anything, and I say it so weird. Hi. Hey there. My name is McCay Caldwell, and welcome to the first episode of Nerds with Nines, where I talk about anything and everything from anime to Zenith firearms. Do you get it? A to Z. I know I'm funny. Anyways, today I just want to, I don't know what that was. I know you can't like really hear much outside of, my voice, but like I keep on messing with stuff with my hands. It feels like I don't really know how to like use my hands without actually talking to somebody like right in front of me. So now, because I don't have a camera or anything, I'm literally just gonna talk with my hands this whole entire time, and nobody's gonna know how I'm like utilizing them. That's how my life is now. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about, I guess, myself a little bit. I feel like in my life I haven't went really through what it was being me and how I feel on a daily basis and what I do. I don't really necessarily like talking about myself. I feel like it's not about me. I feel like more of a background character. I'm not the main character of this story. Um, but I feel like I need to talk about myself a little bit, get you guys accustomed to um, who I am and the type of person that you're going to be listening to, hopefully in the future. So hopefully also I don't say uhs, and ands too much. I'm gonna say and all the time. I'm just letting everybody know this is definitely not one of those podcasts. Okay. Anyways, so I guess I'm gonna start from really the last couple of years, what I have been doing, and kinda, just everything that's been going on. First off, um, I'm not that old, I'm only 23 years old. And so I don't really have a lot of experiences, but I do have, um, I guess, experiences in other areas that other people do not have, I guess you could say. Um, but I'm just going to start from like the 5 year mark, basically, like right when I graduated high school. So, right after I graduated high school, it was June of 2017. My family decided, not really decided, it was kind of decided for us that we were going to move to a different state. And so I was like, okay, cool. At the time, I was dating somebody, and I was feeling those feelings, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'll never find anybody else. Like, that's the kind of thing that any teenager would say. And obviously, didn't. I will never know for sure. Maybe it did happen. Maybe it wouldn't. We don't really have that information. And but either way, majority of the time is not necessarily true. But in this case, I was like, oh my gosh, my parents they ruined this for me, and I'm like, but now I look back and I'm like, no, that's not really the situation. Um, but instead of looking at that as a positive, I'm getting to start fresh and new. I saw it as a negative, and it impacted people around me. I was like, you know what? I'm very upset, and I'm gonna let everyone know that I don't want to be here, and that brought everyone down. And so over the years, I kind of had that mentality. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't know how to approach knowing, like, how do I know what I want to do with my future. 18 years old, and I feel like I was expected to know what it was that I wanted to do when that's not necessarily true. So basically, I was given an ultimatum. My dad said, hey, son, you need to get a job and then, join the workforce or go to school. You got one of those two things. I think everybody's parents have given them this ultimatum, at least, once in their life. And I was like, I am not good at school. Like, I graduated college with like a 2.5, or not college. Whoa, no, haven't done that. No, thank you. I didn't. What am I saying? I graduated high school with a 2.5 GPA, and it's not because I'm not smart. I probably could have done very well if I applied myself, but I'm just not that type of person. I just didn't want to spend the time in order to, apply myself. I didn't want to do it. It just didn't make any sense to me. I didn't see the purpose of school, and so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna join the workforce, and I then, got a job as a cashier, and I did that job for a while. Um, I learned a lot, and actually I learned really really quickly. It was the easiest job I've ever had. It was so easy. Um, and over time, I was like, you know what? I don't want a part time job anymore. I want a full time job. I want to make more money. Um, and this is kind of like a PSA for, I guess, anybody that is graduating college, or not college, graduating high school. I'm going to mess it up the whole entire podcast. I'm just going to let you all know right now. Anyways, and this is kind of like a PSA. Like, if you are getting a job, do not get a credit card to go along with that job. So let's say, I'm just going to make up a figure, you make $10,000 a year and you get a credit card, your first credit card, and it's $300, and you max out that $300 credit card. Oh my gosh, you're gonna keep on maxing that thing out. I swear you are. One of my first credit cards was a preload card, and I think it was a $200 limit, and they literally took $200 out of your checking account, and that was your credit. That it helped build your credit. But my problem was that I would just spend the $200 and keep on spending it, and then I'd load it back up and then spend it again. I'd load it back up and spend it again. I never saved any money, and I never really cared to. I was more like, this is like the first time having that freedom, and I just wanted to spend that money, and didn't work out too well because now I'm not in that great situation. Anyways, just wanted that little PSA. Don't overload up a bunch of credit cards and think that you have this magical amount of money. You do not. It's not your money. And our parents tell us that all the time, or most of our parents tell us that all the time. It's not your money. It's like dummy money. Anyways, so after I was a cashier, at the same company, I decided I want to go full time, so I went into the night shift, and I got full time hours with that, and that was the worst experience. It's a whole different feeling when you go from being a normal person. I'm not saying they're not normal people, but it's different. You're going from being a day person to nocturnal, just in an instant, and it really does do something to your mind. You don't feel like a normal person, and I feel like that was the worst time, or probably second worst time in my life. And my family knew it immediately. I really wasn't around during the day, and I would only be around for like dinner time, and then after that, it was just gone. Like, where is he? Who knows? He's probably sleeping. And the sun was no longer, it was no longer like a tool for happiness. It was more like, oh my gosh, the sun's out, like, go away. That kind of thing. So not a great experience in that part. And so I went to the day, and I tried other jobs, and then I decided, you know what, let's go to a different company. Maybe that will make me feel happier, make me feel something. And so I went to be an assistant manager at a sub place, and I met some pretty cool people, but we clashed all the time. Like, there was this one guy, I'm still friends with him to this day, but we are horrible at working together and, you know, at work in any situation. But um, when we're not at work, we're, we're just great. You could be like, oh yeah, they're really good friends. But if you go to work, you're just like, oh my gosh, like they hate each other. They're not even. Who are these people? Um. Anyways, but that was just it was not the best of jobs. And I do have to blame it a little bit on myself because I'm one of those types of people that likes to be in control, but also follow the rules. I'm a rule follower to the T. Um, and they wanted to take shortcuts, and I was like, I don't feel like taking shortcuts, even if it means that I'm not doing my speed or getting my speed up there. So I was, it's just there's a lot of butting of heads, and it just wasn't a fit. And so I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go back to the previous company, and I always seem to keep on going back to that company, to be honest. And you'll notice throughout, like, knowing me that I get comfortable, and when I'm comfortable, that makes me feel safe. But comfortable doesn't always mean safe. Oh my gosh, that is such a good line. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good T-shirt. I feel comfortable when I'm safe, but comfortable doesn't always mean safe. And so I went back to that company that I was a cashier at, and I went to night shift for, and then back to day shift. And then when I came back, I was like, all right, I got to do something. What do I want to go into? And so they put me in a customer service role. And nobody will ever, if you haven't worked customer service, you won't understand the 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 craziness of individuals. Like, you won't understand how horrible people can be, you know? Like, you can have the best day. Like, it's just you're everything's going right. You're happy. Like, it's and walking through the door of work, of your job, it's just a lot of people. You're not happy. You don't want to be there. And honestly, I didn't want to be there, but there were some days where you wanted to be there, and one person can steal your joy so quickly. If I had my joy readily available for somebody to steal, and they took it, and it was insane. But that's just what customer service was like. And I mean, you had a shared experience with the other customer service representatives, your fellow associates, but it just wasn't the same. Like, you guys could pick each other up, but it just all falls apart eventually, and it only takes one person. So I guess that's a little bit of an announcement too. Like, if somebody is at, like, let's say, Wally World, okay, most likely they don't want to be there. So why make their job any harder than it needs to be? Just, if you have a question, ask the question. But at the end of the day, don't be upset if they're upset. Like, yeah, it's about customer service, but also you get treated. The quality of your customer service just depends on where you go. You know what I'm saying? And I would, I know that when I go to certain places, I'm going to be treated better because, one, they're paid better, the associates are, but also it's just, they are treated better as and so if that a certain place doesn't treat their associates as well, and they don't necessarily get paid a lot of money, then don't get upset with that associate, because most likely they're having a worse day than you are. So just take a deep breath, um, and get through it, that kind of thing. But I was at customer service for a while, and I did actually have an instance, and I can't really talk about that instance because I still work for this company. Um, but there was an incident. There was an incident where I had to be sent to a different department, and honestly, it was an eye-opening experience. And I don't have any bad blood or anything like that. I'm totally at peace with everything that happened. But I got sent to a different department, and I was there for a long time. And I think that's when I felt at my job the lowest I've ever felt. It was very, very uh, um, bad experience. But also, now looking back at it, I just know that I was there for a reason. Um, you know, I just think that God was like, yeah, no, let's put him in this situation and see how he handles it. And I feel like I always made an effort to try my best to look at the good in everything, and that's what I got out of that situation. But after that, I got sent back up to my previous position, and then into um, actually not necessarily into that previous position, but like another customer service role, and helping and actually being able to talk to people and stuff like that again. Um, but it was just a overall really humbling experience to know that even if you're taken out of a situation because of something negative, that you can always find the good in something and make that situation from a bad one into a good one. And that's what I had to do. I knew I had to do that. So, long story short, there's a lot of flip-flopping, a lot of moving around, and I ended up in a supervisor position, and it wasn't the best experience, I would have to say. My gosh, I need a pop filter. That was loud. I'm sorry that happened to you and your ears. Um, anyways, I got into a supervisor position, and I immediately understood why I'm not necessarily management material. But I always wanted to believe that I could be in management. I could do it. And I'm not necessarily sure I can. But maybe that's just other people bringing me down. I don't know. Maybe I need to try again. Or maybe it's just my anxiety getting to me. But either way, it just wasn't that great of an experience. And so I was like, you know what? Like, at the time, I was like, I'm not doing horrible, and I feel like I could be doing better. So I got another job as a manager, a store manager. There's a lot of training involved, and it wasn't at the same exact company. It was a different company. And I went through that. I met some amazing people, like just the coolest people. And they're so humble, and they're just so like accepting. And it was a weird time in my life, but it was so cool, and it's such a great experience. But that was just cut short, and it was mainly because of mental health issues. And I didn't really want to deal with those issues, so I decided let's just run away from them. So that was great. It was so fantastic, let me tell you. No, but it didn't last a long time, but it was a very cool experience. I learned so much, and I don't really talk to any of those people anymore, but I wish I did. They were so cool. But anyways, I went from that position, and then I kind of made some dumb decisions. I was dealing with stuff mentally, and I fell for, you know, a scam. I'm not like joking. It was a genuine scam. Like, I fell for it. There's this. I was on LinkedIn and I was going through and I was looking for positions in graphic design. I've been doing graphic design for like over 7 years since I was a sophomore in high school, and I've been learning a lot. And I know I'm relatively uh, adept in graphic design. I know my stuff, and so I was looking through trying to find a graphic design position, and somebody reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we have a position for you, and it's a contract. Like it's just a we just want to contract you out, and then utilize your services, and then when that contract is over, we won't need you anymore." I said, "Cool." And then they said, "If it so happens that you do a great job, then we'll think about extending that contract." And I was like, "This seems legit. Like it seems like um, a good thing." And they provided all the good information. Like I was like, "Yeah, no, I did my research on it." I was like, "Yeah, like that's a reputable company, um, and yeah, let's do it." So I quit my other job, and then some like some sketchy things were thrown my way, and I was like, "This doesn't seem right. Like it doesn't seem like it was before, but now it just seems off." Maybe I was like persuading myself that it wasn't off the whole entire time, but I just felt at that moment I was like, this is not right. There's something going on." And so I then figured out, oh, yep, it is a scam. Like I quit my job prematurely, and now I'm in a really, really bad position. And so I was like, crap, like this is bad. And I was embarrassed. Like I'm a very prideful person, so I was very embarrassed. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to tell my parents. I didn't want to tell anyone. I just wanted to leave it alone and just find a new job. And so eventually I told everyone, and they were very understanding. Also was kind of an idiot. I understand now. Um, but it was just a crazy situation, I guess. Anyways, I found another job, and it was another horrible job. It was a 6 to 4 job, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it wasn't fulfilling at all. And this was around the time where I had to go to therapy. I had to go and uh, get some stuff off my chest. I've been holding things back for a long time. Obviously, going from job to job, um, and quitting a job just because of that experience. And so I went to therapy, um, and then that actually brings us up to actually this year, like literally just not too long ago. So all those experiences, those were all over about 4 or 5 years. And so when I went to therapy, I was like, it was a constant theme every single week. It was, I hated my job. I hated what I was doing. And I don't use hate very much, but I was like, I hate this. This is horrible. Like, I cannot do this. And so my buddy said, "Hey, there's a job open at the first company you started with, you know, and this little podcast, rewind here. That first company I started with, they're saying, we got a job over here, an opening." And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't really want to go back to that same job. It's just, and he's like, "No, like, it's at a different store. Like, it's all good. Like, you should do it." And I was like, "All right, I trust you. Let's do it." And that brings me to today. I've been with that at that job for a little bit over a month now, and it's interesting. I'm the type of person that likes learning. I'm a hands-on person, and if I'm not learning, that means I'm not gaining anything out of this. You know what I'm saying? So, when a job gets to be boring, it's usually because it's I've learned all I need to learn. It's not about money to me. I don't really necessarily care about money. Money is more of an object that I have to use, I have to utilize in order to keep my life going. I don't really necessarily care about it. Um, and so I got put into that position where I'm actually learning something, and I'm making a little bit of money, but really just now I'm just removing debt from my life, and that's where the credit cards come back into play. By the way, it's just all those situations and spending and spending and spending and not thinking about it, and coming back to today where I'm in debt and you have to get out of that debt. Gosh, a bunch of rambling, and I'm sorry for the rambling, but I hope this is somewhat interesting, because if it's not, then this is going to be a really boring 100 episodes. Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's 100 episodes. No, I'm kidding. I don't know how long it's going to be. Anyways. But I've had a lot of opportunities as of recently, and by the way, this podcast won't be much longer. I'm just going to get to the cool stuff now. So I did say that I'm a designer, and so I got really, really cool experiences. This is actually a really awesome way for people to understand, like, that you can do literally anything. So there's this coffee shop that I go to, and it's about 5 miles from my house, if that. And it's such a cool coffee shop. It is everything that I've wanted, and it's not necessarily just because it's coffee, but it's just the environment that I'm around. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel at home. And so I decided, okay, I support this coffee shop 100%. I've been going for a while, and I support their vision. I support the brand. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make new coffee bags for them. At the time, their coffee bags were like these brown paper bags, and it's not like the ones that you'd get for like lunch, back in the day. It was more like a breathable, like, paper material mixed with like a plastic material. But anyways, it was very ugly. And Kate, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but they were ugly bags, and we both know that they were ugly bags. But anyways, and I was like, you know what, I want to like redesign like everything. Like, I want to try it. And so I redesigned these bags, and I made it so that it was bags to represent the different branches of military and our first responders, and honor those people who make those sacrifices every single day. Oh my gosh, that was my ankle. I just cracked like crazy. Anyways, sorry. And so I was super, I still to this day, it's one of my favorite designs that I've ever made. And I was like, I got to show the owners this. At the time, I didn't know who the owners were. I was just like, I got to show them this, though. This is really, really cool. And so I still worked at my the mundane job, not the current job, but the one right before this one. And so I would ask my boss, like, hey, can I, do you mind if I come in a little late today? Or do you mind if I, leave for a break a little bit early? And then it would be like an hour or something like that. And they were totally okay with it. They understood, like, yeah, no, cool. Like, follow your dreams, do whatever you need to do. And I thank them every day. Like, I wholeheartedly, they're so awesome people over there. But I was just trying to figure out when I could show the owner, and I never knew when they were there. So I was like, okay, I gotta like go in at different times and kind of just try it out. So there was like a whole entire week where I'm trying to track down the owner and try and show them this amazing design that I made. And so one day I go in, and I said, is the owner here? They're like, nope. But they will be here tomorrow. And I said, oh my gosh, what time? And they're like, oh, like she comes in around 8. And I said, okay, cool. So I got the, a little bit of time off for like a early lunch from work. I drive all the way down over there. It's about a 30-minute drive, or from my job at the time. And I saw her. I was like, oh my gosh, Kate, hi. And she's like, I don't even know who this kid is. Like, how do you know my name? I don't know you. And I said, hi, my name is McCay, and you don't know me, but I have something for you. And to this, like, if she was on this podcast right now, that's exactly how I said it. Like, I have something for you. I have an amazing thing for you. And I was very flamboyant. I was just like, I need, like, I to show off my personality here, though. Like, I need to let you know that this is awesome. And so I sat down with her and I said, this is what I got for you. And I showed it to her and she's like, this is amazing. And I was like, yes. I was like, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And after showing her that and everything, she was like, this would be so cool. Like, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Like, I started, talking to her a little bit more. And I said, hey, like, if you guys want these bags, like, you can have them. Like, let's do this. And so they actually paid for the bags and everything, paid for the design. And we got the bags made and everything. And if you guys want to see those bags, I'll have them on my Twitter at McCay Caldwell. And you guys can see those designs. They're so cool. Like, I love them so much. And when they were made, like, they're made with care. You can tell that they were made with care, and it was so cool. And it's just one of those things, like, I never thought that I would have that instance where I could work with such an amazing company. And, people to see my designs every single day, like, that was never a part of my goal. Like, designing was literally just a means to an end. It was just like, hey, what can I do with my free time that kind of helps out with my creativity a little bit and gets the brain flowing a little bit. And from something that started in sophomore year of high school just as a 20% project, just went somewhere so real, so quick. Not so quick, but in that time frame, so quick. And now to this day, just a full disclosure, I'm still working with them. I made some more bag designs for them, and now we're planning some amazing big things in the future. So actually, if you guys want to go check them out, it is Local Patriot Roasting Company in Kannapolis, North Carolina. And they have such amazing things going on in the future. And this is not an ad by any means. I'm not being paid to say this. That's just I genuinely believe in this product. So if you guys want to check that out, that would be fantastic. And then also you can get your hands on one of the bags that I designed. It was, it's pretty amazing. I do have to say so myself. But anyways, we're actually coming to the close of this podcast, and I hope this podcast wasn't too boring. Some things that we're going to be talking about in future podcasts, episodes. I'm going to be interviewing some amazing people that I'm already getting in contact with, hearing some amazing stories, and talking about anything from suicide prevention to, talking about nerdy stuff like Call of Duty and anime and all those different things, gaming in general. But this is really just a safe place. Like, if you guys in the comments, like, you guys can say anything and everything as long as it's not, hurting anyone. I don't really care what you say. It's just, I really, just want a safe place where we can all just have a conversation. You know, I wouldn't have went on for 35 minutes if I didn't feel like this was something that I needed to get off my chest and just, talk about. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Nerds with Nines. And I do hope that you continue to listen in the future. This will be a podcast that is released hopefully every Monday, if not every other Monday. But I do hope you guys have the best week and enjoy every day, because it's only today that is guaranteed. That was so good. Anyways, all right. Thank you all for listening, and bye-bye.